In the midst of a pandemic, do you have any blessings to give? In these unprecedentedly difficult times, it seems as though our lives are missing so much. When it comes to blessings we can give, many of us feel we're at a loss. But at the end of this week's parasha, VaYigash, there are 3 little lines of text that teach us how to give blessings to others, even when we feel like our own spiritual cupboard is bare. The moment comes when Joseph is introducing his father Jacob to Pharaoh. The encounter that happens between them is extremely brief. Jacob gives Pharaoh a blessing. Pharaoh then asks how old Jacob is. Jacob answers by telling him his age, and that his life has been exceptionally hard. And finally, Jacob takes his leave, giving Pharaoh a parting blessing. End scene. So few words, yet so many profound lessons. For one, when Jacob says that his life has been hard, that's a huge understatement. His childhood was one long competition with his brother, a rivalry that got stoked by his parents. He ended up conning his brother out of his birthright and tricking his father into giving him the blessing of the firstborn child, at which point his brother threatened to kill him, so Jacob had to run away from home. He worked for 7 years for his uncle Lavan in order to marry the girl that he loved, and then had to work another 7 years when Lavan secretly swaps brides at the chuppah. For many years, neither wife is able to have children. Eventually, they do both conceive, but when they do, the jealousy between them only intensifies. And ultimately, Rachel, Jacob's original beloved, dies while giving birth to their unlucky 13th and final child. His one daughter, by the way, also gets raped by the neighboring tribes, and just for good measure, his favorite son is killed at the age of 17 by a wild goat, or at least so he's led to believe by his family. Look, I know that 2020 has been awful, and the pandemic is hard on all of us. But when you hear about Jacob's life, doesn't it put our woes at least a little bit into perspective? And let's remember that while Jacob would have every right to complain, how does he bracket his interaction with the Pharaoh? That's right. He begins by giving Pharaoh a blessing, and he ends by giving Pharaoh another blessing. The Torah seems to be telling us, and not so gently, if Jacob, even at the end of his incredibly tragic life, could find the inner strength to give not 1, but 2 blessings, shouldn't we be able to do the same, or at least give 1, even in the face of tough circumstances? How fitting it is that this parasha comes just at the end of 2020, one of the worst years in memory. And yet, as bad as it has been, this parasha reminds us that A, there are always others who have it worse than we do, and B, we still have blessings that we can give to help make the world a better place. Those blessings can be tzedakah contributions to organizations that can help make the world better for those who are suffering more than we are. They can be acts of kindness to a neighbor who lives alone. They can be a phone call, remember those? To a family member or friend who misses us more than ever. But whatever the form is, the Torah shows us that even in this year of great loss, we all still have many blessings to give. May we all be a little more like Jacob, always willing, even in the most challenging times, to give those blessings to others. That way, we can make 2021 into the happy new year that we are all wishing one another. Shabbat Shalom and Happy New Year.